Hello, everybody, welcome. Rosa Investigator. So, oh, hi guys. Wow. See here, what is going on here? So, wow. So guys, it's such a crazy weekend, okay? I don't know if you feel this, and I don't know if you, yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if you feel this. I think everybody feels it, right? The intensity of everything. And I was thinking, I took that day off, and I was thinking about how these visions have been so intense, and I'm glad, I hope nothing happens to Nastia, okay? Um, and so, so anyway, so I feel like it's just this intensity, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, am I crazy? Did I see it? And I was like, I hope, it's just a warning. It's possible, okay? So I feel like I want to look into those things I mentioned, that's affecting all of us, obviously, right? The issue with Trump, the opening of the government and what Trump is doing, A. B, the issue of the kids, like I think on a bigger scale, okay, like I was saying, how can we deal with this in a way? Not as dealing with it, but what is the best course forward? Because I felt, guys, when I saw it, I was furious. When I saw that image, I was furious. And my instinct was to say it's not going to happen again. Because, and there's an interesting dichotomy here, because on the one hand, I feel like I have a sense that it's time to be aggressive and have a zero tolerance policy. Okay. Some people said, oh, they're cute. Like, that's bullshit, because that's what happened with Kavanaugh. There was a system that enabled that. Okay. So we have to attack it. This is like how Kavanaugh is made. Okay. There's a system clapping for this. We have to cut it down and show, because my sense, guys, is that those people, no, I'm not talking about the kids. I'm talking about the people behind the scenes who create this anger. You know what I mean? I think they are afraid, because I think I don't want to say for the first time, but right now, my sense is like, if I hear this, I'm gonna go to the woman's company that hires the mother and all those things. All because I'm sorry, I don't know that I will, but I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? There has to be zero tolerance. Okay, zero tolerance, because those people learn. They know, because the reality, guys, we are the majority, far by far. And there's a business school professor named Scott Galloway. He said something really interesting, which is very true. Okay, that the future of business is going to be woke as a business strategy. Why there's a lot of criticism about, but the reality is that Trump voters, okay, I'm talking about in general, not because obviously in terms of wealth, all the billionaires that support Trump make up for, if you find the medium numbers, not that. It's just in general in terms of purchasing power, they account for 10% of the economy. That's nothing, okay? So if businesses want to remain relevant, they cannot accept those things, because they're going to lose. That's just, they are marketing to a tiny percentage. So Scott Galloway, I'm going to type here his name, okay? You can look it up. Actually, I did. Okay. I think that's it. So just look it up. It's just he gave some talks or something like that. It's kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of people criticize it and say, though, like Nike, for example, right, that they're preaching to the converted and so forth. But let's think about what's happening in terms of technology, okay? So I feel like I got off track a little bit, but it's just important that we talk about it just quickly. AI, what is AI? AI is the sort of programming, automating something through programming. So a lot of people on Twitter are fake. All those people who kept saying, oh no, they're kids just playing. They're playing. Those are Russians, okay? Those are Russians. I'm sorry. So what happens? The conservative people, for the first time, they can create a false perception that they are the majority, or that their voices are huge. They're not. Their voices don't matter as much, okay? So they like to create this illusion that everybody is like, oh, everybody. No, are you going to cater to 10%, a tiny percentage? Okay, no. So bye, go bye. So this is it, guys. Okay, so this isn't just as a reminder, but like I said, it's an interesting dichotomy of not accepting. I'm not going to accept it that they're going to do that, act like that towards the Native American elder, and it's not just because it's a Native American elder and a veteran. Okay, it's because it's not acceptable. Okay, it's not acceptable. All right, I'm sorry. That's it. And if you want to continue, you're going to go to the cave. Go live in a cave. Okay, go live in a cave. That's what, everybody is like, people kill each other. So what? So what? It's so ridiculous, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm sorry, if they were true, Satoya Brown would not have gone to jail. It's like, oh, people make mistakes when they're little. Forgive them. I'm sorry. It's a system that only works for people who look like them. Okay? Sorry. No, not acceptable. So this is it. Okay, so this is it. All right. So that's that. Now, so go. So guys, considering that the things to look at here, it's interesting. I was saying this, and what would the thing that came up? Oh, as I was cooking. Okay, that's right, exactly like those images of the civil rights era. Okay. And I was looking. That's right. I was cooking, and I was like, it would be interesting to know. And it's funny. Lisa showed up here. She's in the comments, and because Lisa, I don't know if you guys know it, but sometimes she mailed about Mr. Rogers because she's from the neighborhood of Mr. Rogers. Okay, and is it okay if I say it, Lisa? Yeah, hiding from our phones. So she from. Okay, she's the neighborhood of Mr. Rogers, and I feel like Mr. Rogers is very interesting historical figure to look at. It's like, how do we, what is the best way to go forward? And also Dr. King, I feel like I want to talk to him, quote unquote, okay, and see the strategies going forward. Because my sense, guys, is on the one hand, is to have this sense of I think we're at a point where we are taking up power, taking up room, speaking up. We have to do that because this is what the lesson is. If we let it go, it's like a disease. If we let it go, it grows, it kills us. You know what I mean? So if we don't do anything about it, we have to attack it. That's our role, to speak up and to say it's not acceptable. I don't care. This bullshit is over. It's not 2016 anymore. We figure out your game. So this is it. Okay, so the questions here, just gonna go over them. How it's going on with these, and I feel like they're afraid, guys. They are afraid. They know that we woke up, and bitch, go ahead. Oh yeah. So anyway, so this is it. Okay. Now, okay, so okay. So now, guys, okay. So now let's go to the issue with the government shutdown. The image, I was like, yes, the last reading I did, okay, on that, it showed the gates opening. This is the thing. I think timing, if this is the thing, guys, I have to do another, it's very difficult. My sense from the visions I have had consistently is that Trump is not going to give, he's not going to give in anything, and the Democrats are not going to give in anything. So it's going to end when he leaves. Unfortunately, that's my sense. Okay. Because not just because of the way things are going, I think it's obvious that it's the cynicism. It's the bullshit. Okay. It's the cynicism. And, he does not want to create good. He really does not. He wants to punish the DACA kids. It's like he wants to make it even worse. So he's, he is acting like a criminal, which he is. So I feel like it's going to get to a point where, and this is why, guys, this is important. Okay. People say, oh, the government is all these things. They started saying, okay, this is, guys, it started saying, okay, the far right is pushing out, which is exactly their goal, I think, is say, oh, if you don't like to work for the government, get another job. Okay. Now this is their goal. They want, I'm not kidding, guys. Those people, if you read those libertarians, like, oh, this is the government. I hate government. What for? People do nothing. They want to make the government powerless. And they're doing this to the FBI even, guys. Think about it. The Coast Guard and the FBI, right? So this is it. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I don't think that the Democrats are going to give in, and it's going to be there. It's a government of harm, destruction. That's what they want to do, is destroy things. So you know what I'm saying. So that's that. Now, okay. So okay. So okay. Here, there's anything else? Is that that's it, guys? Okay. Do you, and I'm trying to think here. Do I start with our strategies or them? I'm just thinking here. Okay, so I was going to ask quick question here. I'll close my eyes to figure out what them. Okay, okay. So then, okay. So let's see, figure out what's going on. Okay, and then I think we can diffuse whatever is going on by But I do want to make a big part of this tonight, not about questions, but about, like I said, the strategies of dealing with what's going on. Okay, so let's start with the Trump situation. Okay, the airports have well, they're not shutting down, but they're very seriously like, right. So all right. Okay, so thank you, thank you guys. We're all in it together. You know what I mean? It's intense. It's crazy. And thank you guys for also supporting me and everything. And also, sometimes guys think I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It's so intense. But guys, this is the thing. I feel like there's something here about strike. This is the other thing. I think there's some sort of legal issue. They're hoping people will strike so they can try and fire them. There's something there. I don't know exactly what it is. But let's see. Okay, so what? Okay, guys. So here, let's see protection. And I'm gonna do a little protection now, and then when we go into what to do next, I think I'm gonna do a bigger protection. But I think we need a lot of protection. Okay. So I like to ask the universe to send me protection through a beautiful ray of light coming from the top of the sky to the top of my head. And as I inhale, I breathe in and I feel this protective light deep inside my lungs. And as I exhale, I project it outward from my third eye forward so that it creates a beautiful bubble of light. And as this bubble of light is created, I'm ready to step on it. I step into it and I feel completely protected. Now that I'm protected, I invite everyone in the group to join me one by one so that we are all in it together in a big circle. And in the center of the circle, we have this earth and everybody in it, and we're protecting everyone. But for today, I would like to ask you, universe, for the most beautiful images, for the most clear images, and only for images that are balancing and protective, so that we can understand the events of today from a loving perspective, and we can understand the story in a manner that will help us find strategies to cope with this narrative and to change the outcomes towards loving change. Okay. All right. So now, okay, so let's start now. So Trump made that joke of an announcement with that plan to get his money for his wall and also get rid of the dreamers. The Democrats said no. What is going on here? And how is this going to be resolved? And how should we deal with what's going on? Because obviously it looks like Trump is not going, his strategy is destruction, and he's trying to strong arm his way in. How is this going to end? And how is this going to move forward? Okay, guys. So this is interesting. So it showed, and it's weird to see this image. So the first image, and it was repeating many times. Okay. So oh, this is okay. So so the first image I saw was Trump making the Hitler gesture. I'm not gonna repeat. It's like the whole thing with the hand. Okay, so he's like that. He's like with the hand, right? So what it showed is that he's stiff, like he wants to be Hitler, and it's an authoritarian tactic. Okay, and that but in reality, there's strings coming from behind. So it's like he's a puppet, right? So he's being guided to act like an authoritarian person. So it shows that he almost like he's plaster. He's so stiff in that position, and nothing is going to change. He's not going to move. He's like this. He's like, and yet he's a toy. He's being remote controlled almost, right? He acts like he's an authoritarian person, but he's just being what is it called, right? Treated like acting like a puppet. So that's part one. Part two, it showed guys, it's a very interesting image that it's like he's on a podium or some sort, okay, like that, like, and he's sticking to that position. He's not going to change. Okay, because the whole point, like I said, is to push authoritarianism. He doesn't want anything really. Like in the reality, he wants to be authoritarian. He wants to show, and this is what Putin is also encouraging. Oh no, you have to assert yourself, so that it can be, people are afraid and on and on. So it's like blackmailing. Now, okay, part one. Part two is that the image I saw, he was on a stage, but it's almost, and it's hard to describe it. Okay, let me just see if I can draw it somehow. It's that there he has a, okay, so he's on this podium, okay, and then there are these wooden beams here, okay, okay, and then here, okay, so I don't know if you can see, this will be Trump, okay, all like the devil horns here. So this is the podium, right, where he is. And then there are these wooden beams, okay, that would support this structure. And you see these little figures here? They are the people that are like, they're acting like woodpeckers. They're chipping off the base. It's like, oh my God, the base. That's right. I hadn't thought about it even. But it's like they're chipping off the wood. So they start to chip off. The base starts to complain because they're losing money. Okay, because you know how those people are. They're the victims. But if something happens to them, they go crazy. Okay, right? So it's like you're not supposed to be hurting me. You're supposed to be hurting everybody else. Don't hurt me. You know what I mean? So they could watch people die. They could see children go to concentration camps. But if you take something from them, they go after you. Now that's interesting, right? So it's so interesting because it's like, you see the size, he's much bigger, they're little. He sees them as very little, which is kind of interesting. And I didn't show this drawing that I did, it doesn't, because the vision I saw was something like there's a lot of them, okay? So they're all eating like this, like woodpeckers, okay? Eating like so that eventually it falls, okay? So it falls. So the podium's gonna fall because he's never going to move from the oh, the other thing I saw was that they're eating this, and here we have probably this size would be the Republicans. So they go to their own Republicans. They're complaining to their own Republicans, and they're like, because they don't do anything, right? But then they're gonna go take him down. Guys, this is crazy. That it looks as though Trump's base will take him down. Kind of interesting here. Something I would have never thought. You know what I mean? Literally, that's really what this image indicates, right? That the base here is going to take him out. They're going to go to the Republicans. They're going to see the Republicans don't do anything. They're going to go start taking him down. Or it's also that the Republicans on the ground are starting to see that they're losing it. Okay, and that they can't control Okay, so this is it. They're going to go complain. They're going to complain. And in a way, guys, it's very interesting because those people that whine so much, they have in them, if there's anything good about them, they complain, they go. They're very aggressive. So they're not afraid to speak up, because the reason why, they identify with Trump, like, hey, he speaks up, I can speak up too. So now they're going to go. They're going to be, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because really they're like, go get some black people, not me. Like, you know what I mean? That's really like what, it's not, this is not what, you know what I mean? That's literally what they are. They're like, whatever. They don't understand why he's not hurting the Hispanic kids. Like, you're hurting me. That's just wrong. You made a mistake. You're hurting me. You're supposed to go get the kids. You know what I mean? So this is it. And I think so this is it, guys. He falls. But like I said, when he falls, I saw that he had the arm up like Hitler. Okay, in the sense that he's not going to change his position. And I did not see the Democrats doing anything at all. So what it suggested is that the Democrats they're not going to negotiate these terms because he's like a terrorist, basically. Okay. And so and then so the Democrats are not going to do anything. And we shouldn't do, so this is it. He carved his own demise. Okay, literally, right? So the base cuts him off. Okay. And so this is it. There's nothing to do, because if he doesn't change his position, we're not going to negotiate. Okay. And he doesn't, honestly, guys, unfortunately, I don't want to say I feel bad for them, but I kind of do, because they actually believed that they cared about him, that he cared about them. Okay, but this is, and I've been saying this, guys, before. Remember how I said that, like, once the Trump base flips, it's gonna be ugly. Okay, because they're like they feel just the way that the Madoff victims feel. Okay, and I said before, I watched this documentary recently about Madoff, and what I was always amazed by is that those victims of Madoff, they believed that they were going to get 20% returns. They didn't think that it was impossible, that there was something wrong with them getting so much more money than other people. Okay, so no, exactly, yeah. They are more than conned. They are hungry. It's bigger than conned. Okay, because if you're a rich person, you lost your savings, it's one thing. But if you're not a rich person and you live paycheck by paycheck, it's like exactly. Shirley's saying here, the Republicans have mastered the art of getting people to vote against their own interests, and I think they're waking up. It's beyond, like I said, guys, it's beyond being conned. It's not having food on the table. Okay, I'm sorry, that's what it is. What it is losing their houses. This is like, because if you have nothing, if you miss one paycheck, it's very tough. I'm serious, like, you know what I mean? And they're like, wait, but he was gonna hurt everybody else so we could get more, because their logic is like, oh, he's gonna hurt somebody else so I could get more. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Wake up. The same thing. I'm not saying that the victims of Madoff, that they didn't think that it was about hurting somebody else, but it's also that there's something like impossible. It's this extreme belief in magical thinking, as if one person's gonna, oh yeah, you're gonna hurt everybody, and I'm gonna look good. Yeah. So, okay, so this is it. Now, how long? Because, okay, the other question is how can we manage this? Because obviously there's going to be more chaos and it's going to be more intense. Okay, so what's going to happen? How do we manage this, understanding it's going to get more? He's pushing the country towards, that's what they want, right? So what's going to happen here? How can we handle this? Oh, guys, and I wanted to say too, it's telling me this, and before I forgot to say the other thing. I'm getting this message, okay, that we should all, every day in the morning, when you wake up, spend some time meditating, visualizing, whatever you call it, peace in the US and in the world, truth coming out, all those things, because we need to be concentrated on these things being created right now, okay? I think they're going to be created regardless, but we need to focus our attention not on our reaction to all these negative things, but in our construction of something better. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't, you don't have to see something exact. It doesn't have to be just projecting, like I said before, this positive light. I actually should write something like this. A long story, but uh, projecting it, okay? Because I think it's a moment of, it's a lot of negativity. It's a lot of, it's extreme, okay? They want the world to be volatile. They want to put the world on fire. They want chaos. They want this outrage. They want to own all of it. But what we do is like we create, see, almost like imagine, for example, I know if you've seen this footage of people who work in steel mills or anything related to metal. They have the light, the like the light laser, whatever you call it, something like, imagine if you had a laser and your laser melts lies and melts negative barriers to peace. So this is kind of like you watch this coming, from your mind here. It's like whatever, you don't even have to focus on something negative. Like I said, focusing on all the barriers to peace, all this laser destroying the light, destroying anything that is not made out of love. Okay. Because it's important. Now, I think we do have this job, quote unquote, to do this in some way, if we can. You know what I mean? I know we're like, oh, we have to be active, but we have to act from a place of construction first, so that we center, and then we can act knowing that we're going to create something better. Okay, but I think sometimes, I know for me, I was a little bit scared yesterday. It was like how angry I was. I think it's the right, righteous anger, as you call it, but I was like, this is not acceptable. No. So stop this bullshit. Stop this bullshit. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good way to center. Okay, like I said, you don't have to think of a specific outcome, but just sending light and love towards any negative. I think, like I said, imagine if you had a love is like a laser that destroys darkness. So darkness, imagine it's like could be a film of, it's like a dark night or something. It could be destroyed if you use this projecting light. Okay, and that's it. And I think those people cannot create more darkness because light is bigger. Okay, because that's what I think, guys. Unfortunately, I don't think that, think about it, guys. It's almost irrational to think that Trump's going to be like, oh man, so let's have a negotiation. Yeah, I think it's time. I'm very reasonable. I've always been reasonable. Yeah. No, he's crazy. That's why he's a person who's capable of, hanging with Putin, okay, right? Doing whatever he wants is not good, okay? Mm-hmm. So this is it, all right? So just, this is for now, this the question. Now, okay, now let me go back, because I felt like I had to tell you this that I had seen. Now I'll go back to here. So how do we deal with this, because guys, I see this enormous tension growing as far as it can. So how is this going to dissipate, and how can we deal with this? Okay, so. Oh my god, guys, so this is moving emotional. So okay, all right. So it's interesting. It's a little bit abstract, but I'll start asking more specific questions. So the first image I saw, guys, was very simple. It was like a cloud. Right before the storm, if you look at the clouds, they get heavy, very heavy. In Brazil, because of the it's tropical during the summer, especially, it gets like very, very heavy clouds, very, very gray, and then it shows there's the thunder. Okay, so what it's showing is that we're right now in the process of the cloud getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, until there's a storm. But the storm, guys, that I saw is biblical. Okay, it's like this insane thunderstorm. Like it's dark and it's not all of that, and it's gonna be the biggest rain of all time. It's like it lasts for a long time, and then as soon as the thunderstorm hits, the image here came back. The image of Trump being the Trump, speech well, I forgot what I even said. I forgot the name, guys. You know, where he's standing there, or the thing, almost like a statue, is moved away. Okay, so it's going to build and build and build until the whole thing comes crashing down. Not in the way they wanted. No, it's like it's a little bit like it's washing away all the dark stuff. Okay, so it's like once the thunderstorm hits, everything goes. Okay, everything just falls apart, and it shows. And it showed me a stage, you know, like a theater stage cleansing. Exactly, a theater stage when you change from one scene to another. You know, there was the person, Trump was a scene, like it was theater, right? Oh no, let's change the stage, the background of the stage, as if this either it's a theater, they have a different play, or that it's a new act, and we're building a new act, and spring comes. Oh, you know, actually, guys, spring comes. That's exactly true. Spring. When is spring, guys? Is it March 22nd, right? Is it true? Spring. March, is that right? 22nd March, the spring comes. I think it's literal. Spring comes. Okay, so around, okay, March 21st. So yeah, right, that's March. And I remember we had said that something around that time. When it falls, it hits. Okay, now. So that's part one. And then it showed, guys, this was the very moving part, okay? It showed Dr. King and also Mr. Rogers, okay? So two things. So Dr. King said that this is the moment where you realize, humanity realizes, and people like you realize you have power. Like you, not like me, like I have, you know, whatever gift, but everybody here, right, in this group who's looking into this, we have power, and we haven't been using it, and we haven't been aware of it, because there's way too much effort. There's way too much effort in making you silent, in making you feel like you're not worth anything, making you feel that your needs and your struggles are worthless. So he said, you know, guys, and I remember, I want to apologize here that there is that it's telling me I went to, and I'm getting goosebumps. I went to the mountaintop. You know, there's a very famous speech, and I've only, unfortunately, I don't know it. I remember reading about it. And let me see here. Okay, I'm just gonna see here. I'm just gonna read here, guys, the last paragraph. Okay. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, Haman. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I am not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as people will get to the promised land. And I'm so happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Okay. So, okay. So guys, I'm not crying. Every day I no longer joke, I cry. But you know, so guys, you know that he died soon after this speech. But what I understand here, okay, is that this is still the truth, that we have to own it and speak it, okay, that our voices matter, okay, and that we have to speak even if we don't necessarily see the good, or you know, it's not necessarily happening like right now. Our role is to speak it, okay. For example, you know, it's making more sense even dealing with those kids, like, oh no, they're gonna, we have to speak the good, and the good is the law of the land. Okay, that's just it. It's like we speak it because we're too quiet. You know, we've been kind of taught to be, oh, it's okay, there's injustice, oh, whatever, you know, it's life. What, you know what I mean? And I think it's suggesting that we have a bigger role to play in that we have to speak the good, okay, right? And not just speak it, but be much more proactive in creating the good in that way, through that, okay. And the thing about going back to even the vision is to go back to Mr. Rogers. So after I saw Dr. King, and he kept saying the mountaintop, the mountaintop. It said Mr. Rogers said, and it's like Mr. Rogers is like talking to a little child, and he's saying, "This is, and it's so sweet." I'm remembering the documentary, and as you guys know, I never used to watch it, because I didn't grow up here. So he's saying to the kid, what I'm really meant to say is that all these great things that you see, you have to say that they're real. Even though it seems like fantasy, it's real. We have to speak up for all these great things happening. Just as they are saying that all these negative things, that doesn't have to be true. What is true comes from the heart, and we have to speak it. Okay, so in a way, it's the voice becoming of from both of these examples, the voice becoming higher. And like I said, instead of what I'm understanding here, for example, we're seeing the thing with those kids, right? It's like, oh my God, can you believe it? Or you're looking at it, oh my God, look at this. But no, there is no room for darkness. This does not belong in the light, So we push it. We push it because we cannot. And as Dr. King said, it's about, the reaching. Would be reaching the mountaintop in that context, right? Is to see the highest and to affirm the highest, right? So this is that we have to do. It's not acceptable. This is not the we will the good, and this is the only way. And it's like, okay, so how do we deal with the darkness of these kids? We hold them accountable. And this is the thing, guys, and it's showing, going back to the image of the light, okay? It's like, imagine if we had this laser thing, we're going to project that, we have to expose it. And I think this is the darkest and the most difficult, is to expose it. No, not exposing like, oh, look, how secrets, but saying, look at this video, look at this. Is that uncomfortable? Are you uncomfortable being exposed? Because that's what this is the thing they fear the most, is to be exposed. Because like rats, right? It's like rats, if you show them, so, you know what I mean? So this is what it shows, okay, that we bring the light. So this is explain everything, okay? So for example, I was thinking about this, sometimes I think about this interaction with these people, okay? Some people that are prominent, like I said, even a lot of powerful men in several industries are like, oh, but you make mistakes. No, why are you gonna say that to them? So what's the answer to that? Saying, well, so in other words, you think lynching is acceptable, right? You're saying that you wouldn't mind being lynched. Is that right? That's what you're saying. Great. Would you like to be lynched? What would it feel like? Are you afraid or something? Is that you're saying that this is not a bad thing? Or would you be afraid of that or something? So strange. It's sort of like bring the worst example, because that, if those people are allowed to do whatever they want, seems very obvious. Like that seems pretty clear. That's what, right? That's that sort of energy. That's where they would go. So it's not to say to them that it's like the stupid argument, oh, is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing? No. So would you like to be, so in other words, you're saying you're definitely okay with lynching, right? Yeah, you're okay with lynching. So would you like to be lynched? Is that something you find that interesting? Would you like to, yeah, is that what it is? Wow, how interesting. So you want to live in a world where you can be lynched just for being the vulnerable person. That's great. So that's not the world we live in right now. Okay, so you can always go to jail, you can always build your own country, but that's not the world we live in. Though, go back to the past, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things. It's like, it's basically you have to learn how to shame these people and compare them to the very worst and stand by it and put them in the place, because they always see themselves in the place of, they acted like the oppressor, but flip it. So we are now not that we're the quote unquote oppressor, but we're the majority. Why are we like sitting her down? No, we're the majority. So this is we're the majority, and this is our country, and this is the law. If you don't want to live there, you can go to jail. You can go to Russia. Why not? Why didn't you go to Russia? Guys, and I said, oh, this was very deep of me. I had a hashtag Russian bootlicker. So you like licking Russian boots? Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Good for you. Go find some Russian boots to lick. Maybe it's a good use of your time. so, so anyway, so anyway, so wow, yeah, okay, guys. So would you like to order some Russian? Yeah, make sure you know what I mean. So because it's a very dramatic image, but that's what it is. These people are licking Russian boots every opportunity they have, and they're acting like they're aggressive. They're not, right? It's like they're just like, oh, let me see. I have the phone. They said I should say this. So let me say it. Let me say it. So so in other words, these people are manipulated by the Russians. They don't even know. They don't even know. Like, what do they do all day? So, oh my God, did you say Cardi B, guys? She was the best. She replied to that woman, Tommy Lauren, I don't know how to say her name. She said, "Leave me alone. I'm gonna dog walk you." That was so good. Oh my God, I'm gonna dog walk you. Are is Putin dog walking you today? Hmm? Hmm? Are you gonna go to Moscow to have your dog training? Hmm? Are you gonna go over there, hang out with Jill Stein at the American Dog Training Center? Hmm? So you know what I mean. That was so fun. It's like, oh, so smart. Look at that, the dog. Dog thinks he could talk, huh? Because we have to be harsh, guys. Seriously, these people are like ridiculous. We're the majority. Come on, Jesus Christ. Are you drinking your beet soup today, huh? The food is great over there, huh? Very varied diet. So, oh my God. So, but anyway, guys. So this is okay now. Okay, now, like, guys, let's go here. I almost feel like we answer these questions. Okay, so guys, I have one more question about this whole thing with the Trump, because I saw it's still very, very almost like poetic, but I like more details. Can we have more specific details of what's going to happen next? Okay. Okay, so details of what's going to happen next. Trump's going to be there, and this is like, guys, it's so weird. The same image. It's so funny. He's still in the podium talking like this, and then people. I don't know. I remember I worked with event planning a little bit, and then everything is very timed. So there's a time where you have to finish talking. There's a time when people start moving the stuff away. So they're already packing stuff. They're moving the podium. There he is, and then it's like, bitch, get the hell out of there. We're moving. So he's still stuck in that thing. They're going to start moving. Things are going to start moving. And he's going to be there. So it's like, oh, sorry, the party's over. What are you doing here? We're closing the venue. We're closing the venue. Come on. Let's get moving. So okay. That's what it feels like. Okay, so, all right. So interesting. Yeah, but he's not. He's gonna fall because, like I said, the support. The event planning people are moving the base. Moving the base. The right, the base for that they're moving. Look, bitch, you're gonna fall. We're gonna have to take the stage. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. And that's that. Oh, the other thing that it showed in the first vision related to that was that once the thing falls, it shows that the image is like he's a little guy like this, Trump, but he was using a shadow to project him to look bigger than he is. So when the whole thing falls apart, he's just a puppet. That's it. He's a puppet, and he has no function whatsoever. So you know what I mean. He's not only he's not powerful, but he's not in charge. Okay, now. Okay, so next is, so how is this, what's going to happen with the government? Yeah, oh guys, it shows that also the people are going to protest more. They're going to go in, and the Republicans are just like, they're so useless. They're like, oh, is it true? Oh, and they just kind of, so, God. Okay, so just again, you got, okay, Turtle. Where's Turtle? Turtle is interesting. He's also a puppet, okay? Interesting. Maybe this is like that's it. He's still a puppet. He's a smaller. There's different puppet. He's a puppet. Oh my god. There's different strings. It shows the Kochs and the Russians, and it's almost like there's a bit of a conflict here between the. He's like there's many puppet. He has many puppet masters, many, and he's being controlled by different sides. He's not moving because he's waiting for orders. Okay, but even him, he's gonna. Oh my god, guys, so interesting. Oh my god, it's kind of. Oh my god, these images, guys. I don't know where it comes from. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so it shows that the base again. The base, imagine a turtle, the regular size that he is, okay? But the base is like these little people, this size, okay? Start biting his ankles. Like hundreds of people start biting, biting, biting his ankles. You know, imagine if rats, like the same, I don't know, it's a little person, but people with teeth, you know, it hurts, right? Little, even if the mouth's going to be this big, is going to be eating the, you know, at the foot. It's kind of painful. So all these people, so they're, ow, he's like, ouch, ouch. And he's like, get out of, you know, the foot like kicking them, like, get out of here. Stop. Because here, you know, on top of him was the Russians. Behind him was the Kochs. And he never thought about the base. He's like, they don't even exist to him. But now they're biting his feet. So it's almost like a torture, okay, that he finally, oh, he's hurting. Why is it hurting? Okay, so what is it hurting? Because the base is like, bitch, we're done on your fucking bullshit. And it's showing, guys, oh, it's so interesting, you know, the relationship to food, right? They could be, guys, I'm not kidding. They could be hungry. And maybe this is the, you know, the mouth. They are hungry and they are angry, okay? So it's like they're biting him and they're just like, ow. And this is it. He's in a position, and I see Mueller is looking at him, and that's when he's at the very weakest position. That's when Mueller goes and like, bitch, get the hell out of there. Get the hell out. Okay? Get the hell out. Okay. So this is it. Okay. Now, this reminds me, guys. This reminds me of that weird thing of the BuzzFeed article. Okay. It's still, and I think, you know, not yesterday, the day when I did the last reading, it was so intense, right? But today I'm a calmer, so I'd like to understand what the hell happened there. It's kind of strange, you know what I mean? Because I remember the image of that lawyer so well. What happened? What really happened here? I don't know. But it's, I like to understand what the hell just happened. Maybe I'll use cards because I don't have total clarity on this, so I'd like to have clarity on that. So, okay. Now, let me leave the BuzzFeed thing for last, but let me just go back here, guys, to, okay, so to see here, okay, about the kids, okay, so what is going on with these people who are creating those talking points, okay, and how, let's say more direct advice about this, okay. All right, so, okay, so what's going on with the far-right groups pushing the normalizing of the Nazi behavior? Wow, guys, it's true. It's showing me here that they're kind of like in this almost like control rooms, okay? It's like, yeah, let's rile them up. They want to turn them into soldiers, okay? They're like, yeah, let's create like the Nazi era. They were very aggressive, okay? So they would go in the front lines to kind of fight, to really create this like army or whatever, okay? So because they're very desperate, guys. You know, people like the cult or whatever, whoever it is, okay? They're scared because they don't want the population to turn against them. So the more, oh my God, this is why, because the more they rile people up on the right, the little, quote unquote, the little people, the less they have to be held accountable. And that's what they want. They want to put these people on the front line so they can, quote unquote, die. Not really, you know, but kind of like pay the price, go to jail, whatever. And so that they could be behind the scenes always doing whatever they want. So as long as they get these aggressive people creating distraction, they could be, you know, they could just be doing whatever they want all the time. So they're saying we need to foam it. You know, I see the foamy mouths. Okay, angry people, we need angry people so that we can keep doing what we're doing. So they never get to us. They keep distracted by the hoi polloi. Okay, hoi polloi, you know, like the little people who are angry. Oh, let them be angry, make them angry. Great. Okay, so how now? This is what's going on. They're very afraid, and I'll explain. So how will the world eradicate these groups, both the hidden rich guys paying for troll farms, pushing these talking points with trolls and bots, as well as the youth blindly fully. So there's this two-side thing, guys. Is the people behind the scenes like Bannon, right? Manipulating, creating the messaging, manipulating, pushing the buttons, creating the bots, and the people on the front lines. Okay, so how do we deal with both constituents, right? Both groups. How will the world deal with that? How can we end this? Okay. It showed a pretty clear image, okay, which was in the background, the rich, the super rich people paying for this, that there always like a river coming downwards from them. It's the money trail, and it's freezing the money trail. So it's like taking a magnifying glass, finding the money trail, and freezing it. That's part one. Okay. Part two is they're holding a mirror to the kids, because then those people put money so that those kids could continue to be doing the hate speech. So part one of what to do with them is to show that they're going to be way worse off. And it's funny, the second image is the pocket. You know, when you like cleaning jeans before you put in the laundry thing, you pull out the pocket, you have no money, right? The image of the no money. When you pull out the pocket, there's nothing there. So it shows penniless. You're penniless. So they're going to pay financial, not just necessarily fines, but they're going to be worse off economically. And it's showing this is why they should go to their jobs. They should lose their jobs, because it's there. Once they start feeling this, that's what it said, guys. Those people have to feel in their pockets, because since they have no empathy. It doesn't matter. They're not normal, and like we are. Okay, it's like if you say to them, "Oh, look at the other person. Oh, think about all these things." No, they don't care. But as soon as they start suffering their pockets, they're gonna be hurt. Okay, so it's two-faced. It's showing that there are extremely negative consequences. Okay, so it's saying here, one of the things they did really well is to create the fantasy that if they did what the far right wanted, they could be promoted, they could have good jobs, they could do all these things. But the reality is that it's not true. In fact, they are worse off. So once the mirror here shows this is what you chose, Sheila was saying that the Republicans perfected the art of having people vote for people who have who work against their own interests. So that's what it's showing. Okay, so does it make sense? So this was like really interesting, because it shows that they're working against you. They work against you. So it's because, guys, it's showing how pointless it is for us to be like, oh, but don't you think of the Native American veteran? Don't you think of the African American slave? No, they don't. They don't really care. They don't see others. They really don't care. So it's pointless to have that discussion. All you have to do is to say, so you want to be poor, like you want to be living in the shelter, if there's a shelter, because the Republicans, there's no social programs whatsoever, right? So you're going to be begging for food. Is that what you're going to do? That's the strategy, right? So you know what I mean? So this is interesting here. So they have to be told how they were working against them. Okay, and so this is it, okay? But it shows that it's the minority. And once, guys, here, the thing is truth. Once it's exposed, it actually falls very quickly. Because what emboldens them, and this is why they're like, this is why the Kochs were so genius. The whole thing with Citizens United was genius. Because what constitutes guilt is the money trail. So if you can obscure the money trail, oh, great, you could do whatever you want, right? But if you expose the money trail, it stops. Because like I said, they're night creatures. They create the dark and they live in darkness. So, you know what I mean? So this is it, guys. Interesting. Very interesting. So, wow. So this is it, but guys, they're afraid. They confront them. Like I said, confront them. So you want to be poor, right? This is my, and I feel like I've learned a lot of interesting techniques just in this vision. That oh, by the way, guys, I have an announcement to make. I think I'm gonna create a newsletter, okay? Because I feel like a long story, but I'm gonna sign you up that are already here on this group because I feel like I learned so many things in these visions, and I don't have time to. It's not that I want to necessarily write the summary of everything that of the event, but I think there's so many interesting lessons on those things. So this is one of them. All these interesting strategies, how to deal with, I don't know, just really fascinating. I would not have come to these conclusions without these visions because that's not how I think. You know what I mean? That's like, so how do you even think of those things though? So this is I'm going to be, there's not writing anything long, just kind of like learning, once a week or something like that. So just even summarizing the readings of the week and stuff like that quickly.